Hi everyone, Lisa Haven here, and I've got a powerful report. Well, the New World Order is taking over every aspect, from the political side to, well, the educational side to the mainstream media and having control of things that are said on the television, as well as social media now. And additionally, Hollywood has become a big part of that. In today's video, what I want to do is prove it to you with 100% undeniable proof. What am I talking about specifically? Well, I did a report yesterday in which I showed Emmanuel Macron of France coming on stage and basically bashing nationalism. Well, I'm going to play that clip for you again, and then I'm going to play a clip from a television series, E Pluribus Unum, and I'm going to play that clip, and the clip backs and mimics to the T everything that Emmanuel Macron said in this speech. Take a listen.
Because patriotism is the exact opposite of nationalism. Nationalism betrays it. By saying we put ourselves first and the others don't matter, we erase that which is most precious to a nation, that which gives it life, that which makes it great, that which is most important, its moral values.
So what you just saw was Emmanuel Macron of France bashing nationalism and basically saying it betrays patriotism and that the two are the exact opposite. Totally wrong in his statement, but that is the idea, a New World Order idea that he's painting. Now, take a listen to E Pluribus Unum, a television series, basically mimicking the exact words of Mr. Macron. Take a listen.
What is an even greater threat than nuclear weapons? That which makes the use of them possible. Hate. Specifically, the blind hatred one group or nation can have for another. And that is why I am convinced that nationalism is the existential threat of our time. Now, I want to be clear, nationalism is not the same as patriotism. It's a perversion of patriotism.
So now you've just seen a clip from E Pluribus Unum saying the exact words that Emmanuel Macron of France just said. Nationalism and patriotism are the opposite. Nationalism betrays patriotism. Here's the same idea coming from a political office on the other side of the world in France, also being pushed and aired on a television show, E Pluribus Unum, a show that people all across America are watching. There is no coincidence that those words matched. The coincidence doesn't exist. It is an absolute 100% agenda. And you know what? They're pushing an agenda right now with the caravan, with the migrant caravan that's headed to the United States of America. Let me show you a couple facts on that, because that is just the latest in brainwashing and agenda motives coming from the Democratic globalist here in America. The first lie that they tell you about the caravan is, well, that there's violence, that the people in Honduras are running from violence. Check out a few news articles on it from mainstream lying media. This is from The Guardian, and they tell you Honduras is fleeing from violence to join migrant caravan, and they show a bunch of pictures. Here's another one from New York Public, and it's Honduras caravan. Thousands of Honduras fleeing violence head to the United States amid Trump threats. Are these caravans and migrants fleeing from Honduras because of crazy violence that's broken out in the country? Or is there another reason? Well, I'm about to play a clip for you from Ami Horowitz. He is a reporter who actually went into the caravan and asked the questions that the mainstream media refuses to ask and refuses to answer. One of those questions was, well, why are you coming to America? And not one person responded with violence. Take a listen.
The major narrative being pushed by the press has been that the migrants are leaving Honduras because they are escaping extreme violence and that their lives are under constant threat, setting up the strategy that they would be able to enter the U.S. by asking for asylum. So I started by asking them a simple question. Why are you coming to America?
¿Por qué quieres irte a Estados Unidos? Bueno, voy buscando una mejor vida económica.
Venir a trabajar aquí a Estados Unidos. A ver si podemos trabajar allá porque en Honduras no hay trabajo. Pues buscando una vida mejor porque en Honduras no hay trabajo. Por trabajos y vengo a trabajar.
Jobs, benefits, education. That is why they are fleeing Honduras for jobs? Where's the violence and the craziness that's going on in the country? When their answers were jobs, the benefits, school, education, these kinds of things. That's why they're coming to America, because they have been told by organizations that they have all kinds of money waiting for you in America. Sounds more like a political objective, just like I showed you in the beginning of this video, an objective of the New World Order to get rid of borders, because that is a New World Order objective. And it sounds like the real truth isn't that they're fleeing violence, but coming for jobs. Lie number 2 is full of women and children and all kinds of kids in this caravan. Take a look at this report. This comes from the New York Times. Inside Immigrant Caravan, women and children fleeing in violence. There's that violence again. United Nations News. Now, they really twisted this article. 2,300 migrant children in Central America. Caravan, in quotes, need protection. That's according to UNICEF. They really did that one up, because although the article doesn't really have much to do about the caravan, they tied 2,300 immigrants to the caravan, making it sound like there's almost 2,300 children that need help that are heading to the United States with the caravan. Completely twisted article. No agenda from the New World Order. Want to know the truth? Here's Ami Horowitz on the ground saying that it's more like 95% male. Take a listen.
Despite the framing of the caravan as being full of women and children, the reality on the ground is quite different. Approximately 90 to 95% of the migrants were male.
I've said in my video that they were at least 75 to 80%, and that was a conservative number on my part. Turns out it's more like 95% are male. Very few women in that caravan. Lie number 3, this isn't being funded or aided at all by Democrats or George Soros groups. Nope, they have nothing to do with it. They're just going to help along the way while they're there, but nobody organized and made this caravan get together. Nobody made promises to the people there migrating to America. Nope, it just so happened to happen. And it just so happens to fall in line with the political narrative of the United Nations and UNICEF and their migrant policies that they're attempting to push on America. Remember the Migrant Compact I talk about? The one that Trump refused to sign, that 190 some odd other states or joined countries have signed on with the UN? Yeah, that. This pushes that very narrative. Here's a New York Times article pushing the lie, and it stated, did Democrats or George Soros fund Migrant Caravan despite Republican claims? And they very boldly say, no, nothing to see here, folks. It wasn't funded by Democrats or George Soros. Lie, 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 lie. Now I'm going to show you a clip by the people who organized this, and they're linked to CARA, which is also linked to George Soros funded groups, and I'll show you in a moment. But this group is called Pueblos Sin Fronteras, basically open borders group, pushing no borders, no boundaries, and they are helping them mobilize. Take a listen from the reporter I showed you earlier, another clip from Emil Horowitz. Here it is.
Ever present among the thousands of migrants are workers of Pueblos Sin Fronteras, clad in black t-shirts and colored vests. Pueblos Sin Fronteras means people without borders. They're the ones that seem to be most involved in organizing and mobilizing this caravan. The organization, as the name implies, is looking to create a world without borders, which seems to be one of the reasons why they organized this caravan in the first place, to flout American sovereignty.
There you have it. Pueblos Sin Fronteras is aiding the group, along with the United Nations, along with other non-government organization groups. They're on the ground, pushing them to go on and mobilize. And they have food, they have water, they have medical supplies, all provided. Sounds more like a political agenda and a movement to get them there rather than these people actually just needing help. It sounds like there's some political people giving them promises that aren't really realistic. Check out this report from WNDnews.com because it highlights the truth about how George Soros is funding it, but Border Caravan should be called the George Soros Express. It goes on to state that the caravan is organized by a group called Pueblo Sin Fronteras, the one that you just saw, but the effort is supported by the coalition CARA, Family Detention Pro Bono Project, which includes, remember this one, Catholic Legal Immigration Network, the American Immigration Council, the Refugee and Immigration Center for Education Legal Services, and the American Immigration Lawyers Association. Thus the acronym CARA. At least 3 of the 4 groups are all funded by George Soros Open Society. Now I'm going to take you to Open Society, and there is a list of some of their donors. The 2 that I just mentioned, Catholic Legal Immigration Network, American Immigration Council, are among those list of donors. And you can go through and see the other donors there, funded through George Soros. And he does it through one organization, who does it through another organization, who does it through another organization, making it near impossible to track. But that's why we have reporters such as my channel and others giving you the hard truth. Want to know the bottom line? They're feeding you an anti-nationalist agenda. Nationalism is simply love of your country, patriotism. I'm saying the opposite of what Hollywood and Macron say. And they're pushing that agenda using the Migrant Caravan, pushing them forward as a political narrative. They don't care about the actual people. I care about the people in the caravan, and so do many of you. I care about their well-being, but it seems it's not much about their well-being. It's more about getting them across to push an ideal, to get our borders to be open, to push the allowing of asylum, to break down the American society where we have to give all kinds of free stuff that the American people have to pay for out of pocket for illegals that are entering the country. I'm all for legally immigrating, and most of you are. The real idea here is a political one. Anyhow, I'd love to get your thoughts, comments, and concerns. Please don't forget to check out my partner at NobleGoldInvestments.com. Convert your 401k now before the stuff hits the fan and everything goes south, because the economy is not exactly stable at all times. But I encourage you, make sure you convert your 401k and back it by gold, silver, precious metals, something that I personally do myself. Anyhow, thanks again for tuning in. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.